Ashley McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending with HPE Networking Instant On. Today's main host is Josh Jester. He is their SMB manager, and he'll be presenting today. On the panel are two others, and I'll introduce them when we get to our Q&A portion at the end of our presentation. And if everyone remembers, of course, if you have any questions, submit them in the question box so I can read them off to our hosts one at a time, and they'll have the opportunity to, of course, answer. And Josh, I'm so happy to have you here today. I am finished for now, so please go ahead and take it on over.
All right, thank you for the intro. So as mentioned, I'm Josh Jester. I'm the SMBSE manager here over at HPE Aruba Networks. And as mentioned, we're going to be going through the Instant On today. Now, one thing I'm not going to be doing is I'm not going to be showing any PowerPoint slides. What I've done here is I've actually created a demo network, and what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a little bit on the demo network. We're going to delete it, or as I like to say, live a little dangerously here, and then we're going to bring it back up onto a new site to show you guys to show everybody how easy it is to bring up here. So first off, I want to start out with showing a few things on here. So if we go to the devices and then we look at the topology, we can see here what we've got. So I've got the larger of the two gateways connected to the internet. I actually have it connected to two different internet providers. I've got a fiber provider coming in, and then I've got T-Mobile 5G on the other side. And I don't know why that just shrunk. There we go. Let's go back there. So I've got two internet providers connected to it. I've got a 1930 switch, and then I've got 4 different APs. So I've got one of them, the AP22, connected to the gateway because the larger of the two gateways actually does PoE. And then I've got the rest connected to the switch. So I've got an AP11D desktop mount. I've got another AP22, which is typically what you'd see mounted on a ceiling. And then I've got an outdoor AP27 also plugged into the switch here. For our network here, we've got our management VLANs. This is just all of our traffic for our APs and switches to be able to privately talk and gateway. I've got a network for our VPN. We are going to set that up. I've got a guest wireless network, and then I've got my regular, what I'll call my employee network, which I have my device connected to right now. And you can actually see that under clients. I've got my phone connected, and I've transferred about a half gig so far. I ran some speed tests to make sure to get that up. But as you can see, we are connected. So let's get to the dangerous portion here. I'm going to go to my demo site, and you can just as easily set this up in the mobile app, as you could with the web application here. But in this case, for the webinar purposes, it's easier for me to do it in the web application than trying to get this to the GoToMeeting here to work on my phone. All right, so I'm going to go to my site here. I'm going to delete this site. Let's go confirmation code. And so this is going to be a little bit of the nerve-wracking portion of this demo here. So give me just a second. I'm going to check and look. And I can see that everything is starting to reset. So the one thing that I do want to talk about while it's resetting is we did release Instant On version 3.3. That did bring in the functionality of being able to do a VPN or VPN to the gateway. So on how it works is you'll get basically a code to connect for the VPN client itself. It leverages WireGuard. We also have the threat engine enabled on the gateway, as well as I don't know if the site-to-site has come out yet. If anybody in the panel remembers, they could confirm with me, but there will be some at some point being able to do that. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to create my site. So let's just rename this as demo site again. Click next. All right, so it's going to go, it wants me to put in a device to search for. Now, we saw the topology earlier of my network, and connected to the internet is right to the gateway. So the easiest way to bring this all up is to actually go and put in the serial number of the gateway first. So let's do that. Click next. We're going to search for it. It may not be done its whole reset yet. All right, it seems to be cut. I just took a look. It seems to be coming up. And there we go. So we now discovered the gateway on here. So now I'm just going to go and click site. And now the dangerous part is kind of over, so I'm happy about that. All right, so it brings up our site here. We can see that, oh, well, I've kind of got an error here. Oh, and it's because it just doesn't see anything yet. So it's working on getting its IP address from, it looks like the T-Mobile account right now. All right, so we're ready to go. All right, so with our demo site here, right now, we just have that gateway up. Nice thing is when you bring up the gateway, your threat management engine is already automatically turned on. That is turned on by default. You, of course, have the option to turn it off, but you're going to have to go into the security tab and actually turn that off itself. Now, we're not going to see any threats come on here because I don't have any synthetic traffic coming across with threats. And then if you do have a threat that is a false positive, you can actually allow list it, or in this case, put a threat exception on it. Default firewall rules right now. So just laying in what's supposed to come in and what's supposed to come out. All right, so what we're going to do now is I want to try to bring up the rest of the devices here. So we are everything, actually, let's do first the second internet connection. So I've got my primary internet connection here. It is a 192 address. It's because it's coming off of a T-Mobile gateway. So I'm going to create another internet uplink here. So we'll call it secondary. We're just going to get an automatic IP assignment. We do support static and PPOE in this case. And then I got to put a VLAN uplink. So the other WAN uplink is VLAN 2. We're just going to make this one VLAN 3. Click next. It goes into 3 here. I'm going to click create network, and then I'm going to go and plug that cable back in. All right, should be getting an address here, and then you'll notice that we got another menu that popped up down here called WAN redundancy. So we'll click on that. What this does is WAN redundancy does by default, it does an active standby. So it's going to send everything over the first uplink that you put in. There's a dedicated WAN port on these gateways, and then the other ones can be either LAN or WAN on it. So active standby fail, or sorry, active with a standby failover is default. You can also do a load, an active load balancing mode here as well. I am going to leave this on the default in this case. And we'll go back to the site here. Looks like we've, Gateway's been doing some talking, so we've got some data transferred here. All right, let's bring up the rest of our devices on the network. So this is kind of the cool part here of how easy this is going to be. So if I go to devices, and again, we've got our gateway here, and we've got everything plugged in behind our gateway. I'm going to go add devices, click next. It picked up all of those APs that I had and the switch. So I'm just going to go add all these into my site. And everything's brought in. It's going to build a topology. Well, yeah, it's working on it. It doesn't quite know where everything is quite yet, but it's going to build a topology here. And what I want to do now is I'm going to start working on bringing up my network, because right now I only have a management VLAN or network, and I'm not broadcasting any guest network at all. So I'm going to go here into, well, we can either go into the WAN here, and we can go into LAN, which will bring us into the networks. And we're going to go and create a network. So first I'm going to create a wired network. I'm going to call this employee. So this is where my non-guests go. These are the people that I want on this network here. And I'm going to keep the network type as wired. I'm going to call this VLAN 10. You can turn on snooping and then DHCP and ARP protections if you want. In this case, I'm just going to click create network, and we've got this wired network. So what's kind of neat here is we can go and look at our devices under management here. Oh, we're still synchronizing, but I think on the ports we're going to see here. If we go to network assignment, sorry. We can see here that every port right now is untagged VLAN 1 and then tagged VLAN 10. If you have, let's say you have a printer here on port 7 that you want on the employee network, you're probably going to want to have that that port set for just having VLAN 10 on it. It's pretty easy here. I'm going to untag the other port because I just don't care about having it. And I'm going to have port 7 tagged as VLAN 10. So let's update that there. And then all these other ports with stuff plugged in are going to be untagged. Yeah. So that setting isn't available because it needs to know, so that when I assign a wireless network to that employee network, that it'll tie to it. All right, so we'll go back to our demo site. We're going to go back to networks here, and I'm going to create a wireless network. So we're not going to really do a super clever network name here. I know there are some out there, but we're just going to call it Instant On, and it's going to be a wireless network here. In this case, I'm not going to tie it to a radius. I'm just going to do a pre-shared key. And I did not follow very good security standards when I did this pre-shared key. I just made it for easy to put in. It is not a pre-shared key I would ever use on a network of mine. So even though this may be going on YouTube, doesn't matter. All right, I'm going to click next. All right. Assignment here. So I don't want this going on the management network. I want this going on the employee network. And I'm going to create it. And we are up and running. All right, so in here we've got our settings, and since I got 4 APs in my office, I really want to go into the wireless options. No, sorry, network assignment here. I'm going to turn off everything on 2.4 so it just doesn't knock out the very few 2.4 devices I have left in my house. So I'll click save. Now we're just broadcasting on the 5 gigahertz network. All right. So we've got a network put up here. Now we're going to talk about doing a guest. So guests can be interesting. You could put it on the employee VLAN and put them as internet only, or you can do a separate guest VLAN if you want. I'm just going to try to follow best practice here and do a guest VLAN. So I'm going to call this one guest. Make that a guest network. The guest VLAN is going to be VLAN 40. We do want to do a guest portal. Create that network. And again, it's doing all the ports and everything down the line from the gateway to the switch to the AP. It's automatically setting all of this. And we're going to create one more wireless network here. Guest again, or we'll call it guest wireless. It's a guest. Always recommend doing Wi-Fi enhanced open, or what's called OWE, rather than just no security at all. I'm not a huge fan of doing WPA keys on guest networks. It's like telling people the code to the lock on your door outside and expecting that someone won't share it and eventually get into the wrong hands. So in this case, we're going to leave it Wi-Fi enhanced open. Click next. I'm going to put this on local network guest. I'm going to create it. All right, I'm going to go back in here. We're going to make a couple of changes here. One, I'm going to look at the guest portal. We support some external portals as well. You can upload a image, change your terms, colors, things like that. For a basic kind of entry guest user experience, you can see here what it looks like on a mobile as well as on a PC. Go back here, go back to networks. We're going to go back into our wireless network here, and got that set. I don't want to do 2.4. Okay, access control. Because it's a guest network, it looks like it's automatically did this, but the network destinations, it just did the easy button of selecting just internet. You don't want guests being able to see your printer or other devices on the network, or applications or a server or things like that. You want them just able to see the internet, and that's it. Likewise, if we go back here to our employee network, we can go and we can do network restrictions there. So I'm allowing it I'm going to allow it to internet as well as everything on the same network. Just update that. All right. Okay, so we don't have any policies down here, but I want to make a policy that I want to block people from getting inappropriate content. Now they're already up here. What you can do is you can say, you can type in, I want a policy to block YouTube or streaming. All right, so we got here block streaming content on, let's just do this on the guest instead. We can see here they are blocked from streaming. Now I can actually modify this as well. Maybe I want malicious and risky taken out. That's probably a good idea. Explicit and adult content I'm also going to take out. So I'm just going to adjust that policy. Click OK. and click create, and it's now showing up in my policies now. And let me make sure my phone gets connected to this network so I can run some traffic through it. And we're connected now. All right, back to our site here. Client's going to show up in just a little bit. All right, let's talk about VPN and how we do that. So again, we're going to go back here into networks. I'm going to create a LAN network again, and this one I'm going to call it VPN, and we're going to put it as network type VPN. We have to do our listening port on the gateway. This is automatically assigned. Click next. And then my IP assignment. Now I think I did VLAN 20 on this, so I want it to be in the .20 space. I can change this as much as I want. So click next. So what destinations do I want people to reach to? Well, I really only want them to be able to reach the employee resources, so I'm just going to select that VLAN. I click create network there, and it comes up. Now we'll go back here. We have our public key. We have our IP assignment set here, and now we've got client configuration. So this is kind of where where you get the authentication for the VPN. So we click create client client property. So we're gonna we'll just put me as the name for this. Click next. Then it's going to put its cryptographic client identity, create. And then you have the information that you're going to plug into their WireGuard client to be able to get access to, or VPN access to the network. Okay. And it looks like every time I log in with as this particular client, it's going to give me this specific IP address every time. All right, lastly, yeah, let's talk about dynamic DNS here. So, oh, look, we see my it's still stuff's still coming in on it. So it's not going to show instantaneous, but let me pull some traffic via speed test so that we have something show up here. So if I go to, we'll worry about the client here in just a little bit. But if I go here to site, you'll notice here, dynamic DNS site addressing can be used by VPN networks to operate. So I am not on, as everyone saw, I am not on an internet provider that hands out a static IP. A lot of times that is, a must-have for doing VPN. In this case, we can use what's called dynamic DNS site addressing. You'll notice the default is not to use it. It will move over to this once you set up, once you do set up that VPN. So you've got your host name here. So make sure that's clicked there when you're setting up the VPN. Management accounts, you can always add people to your site here. They can be an operator, delegate, or viewer. It's just different levels of permissions there. For software, the gateways are going to operate just the same way the switches and the APs always have been. when you click here and view devices, they're going to be automatically updated. You can set the time. You can even do an installation delay up to 4 weeks if you want. I'm not going to do that in this case, but when I did bring these up, they updated pretty quickly to 3.3. The devices will go through a reboot when they do come up. And as you can see here, you can see all the information on the gateway and that we are on 3.3, but we're on that for every other device as well. All right, lastly, hey, we can see my speed test drew some data here. So mostly saw as web. Click on there. Look, it just identified it as a speed test. I didn't realize that they took that much data, but I guess they do if they're doing testing speed there. So, and then we'll go back and look at my client. Oh, look, it resolved my client name on there finally. So on my Google Pixel 9 Pro, and then we can see, and then I can also block this client or just add them to a watch list here. But we can see we're connected via Wi-Fi 6. You know, relatively pretty close to it. So the AP, so it's going to have some pretty good speed there. We can also see the device that it's connected to. So in this case, that is my AP22D. So that is the desktop mount AP that is in the lab over there. All right. Well, with that, that kind of wraps up the end of my demo.
Thank you very much, Josh, for that wonderful demonstration presentation for all of us today. And I also want to mention, in addition, as part of the Instant On sales team, everybody on, I just want them to know that we also have with us Austin Gilliam, the SMB Senior Sales Manager, as well as O'Hara Wagner, their SMB Business Development Manager, who may be joining in and answering some of today's questions. And if you're ready, Josh, I'm ready to start. I've got some questions from the audience for you.
Okay.
Okay, fantastic. Here goes the first question. How are you handling user feedback, especially feature requests from, for example, the community? What's the process and typical time frame?
Austin or O'Hara, do you want to answer that one, or?
Yeah, I can. I'm happy to jump in there. Hi, this is O'Hara Wagner. I would say if you do have feedback that you'd like to share with our team, we can pass that along to our category manager and our product line management team in terms of requested feature set and functionality for the gateways. So, Julie, I'm not sure if there's a way that we can share my email address following this presentation, but I'd love for that feedback to be sent to me directly so that I can share it with my team.
I can share it with everybody, no problem.
Sure, thank you so much. So please do that and I will make sure that I get it into the correct hands.
Terrific. Next question here for all of you. Let's see. What enhancements are planned to improve the user experience of the web and mobile apps?
O'Hara, would you like me to take this one?
Sure, Austin.
So today we have close to feature parity between the web and mobile application. Every time we come out with a new version of the software upgrade, so we're on 3.3 right now, we're always considering the user interface and the management experience on the web portal as well as the app console. So if there are certain suggestions or feedback that you have as an integrator or a customer, please feel free to share those with O'Hara, and we'll make sure that we roll those up to our GPLM, Global Product Line Management team, as well as category management. We're always looking to optimize and refine the experience for our customers.
Thank you so much, Austin. Next question here for you. How is Instant On preparing for next generation wireless technologies such as Wi-Fi 6E, Wi-Fi 7, etc.?
So we actually have Wi-Fi 6E available today in our AP32. So it's part of the lineup today. And then as far as Wi-Fi 7 is concerned, we know that that's already fairly prevalent out in the market, and we are in process of adding to the portfolio. So you will see some updates from us throughout the course of the next few months with additional products that are part of the Wi-Fi 7 standard.
Thank you very much. Next question here. How does Instant On ensure reliability and uptime from a non-technical customer's perspective?
Yeah, so I can talk more about that. So obviously, you'll notice I am, everything is configured from a cloud portal here, or an app. So it does require some sort of connectivity. Should you be disconnected from that, or your network be disconnected from that portal or unable to be reached by the mobile app, the control plane and configuration and everything is still going to stay up. Think of the portal as just a plane to send configuration through, but everything lives locally on your network.
Thank you very much for that. Couple more questions still left here. Next one. What's on the roadmap to improve performance in dense environments, such as many users and many devices?
It's an interesting question. I would just say, when you look at the portfolio today, we have APs at every level of the SMB space in terms of needs and performance. So we have, at the lower end, our AP21, 2x2 Wi-Fi 6, and then AP25, 4x4 Wi-Fi 6. And as I mentioned, we have 6E for the 32, and 7 is also under consideration for, as the portfolio evolves. So today, I would say in terms of demand and density, we have an offering that's already fairly robust, and we'll continue to optimize that over time.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next question here. What types of businesses or environments are seeing the biggest benefit? For example, retail, hospitality, small office, and or remote work.
Hera, I'll let you take that one.
I would honestly just say all of the above. I mean, those are a lot of the verticals that Instant On plays well in. So I wouldn't say one more than the other, but definitely retail, definitely hospitality. I mean, everything that you mentioned is a great application for Instant On. And like Austin said, we've got many different access point models and a full lineup of switches today to address a lot of different, install scenarios. So if you have questions about, being guided to a specific product that's best for your environment, or the environment that you are selling into, we would love to help you with that.
Thank you very much for that, O'Hara. That's usually a common question. So yes, obviously folks can reach out to you for guidance on where to go and what they need. Question here, everybody. How does Instant On see its pricing model evolving, if at all? For example, will there be tiers of subscription models in the future?
Do you want me to start, Austin?
It's up to you. I'm happy to take.
Sure. Let me know if you'd like to add anything. But today you're just paying the upfront cost for the product, right? We do not have any licensing or subscription fees today. That's not to say that that would never be an option, but as it stands today, you're just paying for the hardware, which includes warranty and support. So that's it kind of goes back to the feedback. If there's certain features that you'd like to be able to unlock via subscription or anything like that, we'd love to take that feedback to our GPLM team and share that with them so that we can make improvements for you in the future.
Thank you very much for that. If Austin, O'Hara, or Josh, if any of you have some closing comments you would like to say at this point before I sign us off, is there anything else anyone would like to add?
No, I would just like to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for your interest in Instant On or for your partnership if you're already purchasing the product. Our team would love to support you in any opportunities that you may have now or in the future. So please utilize our contact information and reach out. We're here to support your business, and thank you for your time today.
O'Hara, Josh, and Austin, thank you so much for answering all of those questions for us. And thank you to everyone for attending today's webinar. And if anyone has any further questions, please feel free to contact your sales rep or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. If you wish to view any of the products mentioned or shown today, please remember that this webinar presentation has been recorded and will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel so we can all view it again. Thank you, everybody. Greatly appreciate your time and the presentation today. Looking forward to having you guys on perhaps in a couple of months. We'll reconnect and do this again.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.